3. Today I'm going to show you an example of how to write a real life word problem using addition and subtraction.
That's beautiful. Right, Logan.
I've written my real life word problem, and this is what it says. My real life word problem says that Mr. Barnum was hosting a dinner party at his home. He invited 346 guests. Unfortunately, 132 of his guests became sick with food poisoning and went home. How many people were left at his party? Now, to problem solve, I'm going to use the STAR problem solving strategy to help me. The first thing I need to do when I'm problem solving is sort my problem out. When you sort your problem out, you start by underlining the question. A strategy to help you find where the question is to look for where the question mark is and then track that back until you reach the full stop. So my question is, how many people were left at his party? The next thing I need to do is circle the important information. The important information is the information that I need to have to solve the problem. So I'm just going to read the problem again to get the important information really clear in my mind. Mr. Barnum was hosting a dinner party at his home. He invited 346 guests. Invited 346 guests. Unfortunately, 132 of his guests became sick with food poisoning and went home. So I've said that what's important is that he invited 346, but 132 went home. So lastly, when sorting out my problem, what I need to do now is cross out the other words. I'm crossing these words out because I do not need them to solve my problem. Now, after reading through the problem and sorting it out, I've decided that this problem will need subtraction to solve it. So I'm going to use the chunking strategy to solve this problem. I'm going to start with 346, take away 132 equals. When we use the chunking strategy, we start on the left-hand side. So first I'm going to chunk my hundreds. So I'm going to draw my line straight down and then straight across to the other hundreds column. So now I have 300 take away 100 equals 200. Now I'm going to chunk my tens. 40 take away 30 equals 10. And now lastly I chunk my ones. 6 take away 2 equals 4. So now that I've done my subtraction, I now need to simply add these numbers together. Now you can do these a few different ways. If you know that 210 and 4 straight away is 214, you can simply chunk it all together to write 214, or you can take it back another step. 210 is 210. Add 4 more to 210 is 214. So 346 take away 132 is 214. I've written another real life word problem. It says, Mrs. Dewsbury loves shopping. She went clothes shopping and spent $235 on outfits and shoes. She decided to buy April clothes that cost $142. How much money did Mrs. Dewsbury spend? So that is an example of a real life word problem that I've written. To solve the word problem, I'm going to use the STAR problem solver chart to help me. And I need to start by sorting out my problem. When you're sorting out your problem, the very first step you need to do is underline the question. So I'm going to find the question mark in my writing, and I'm going to track back until I reach the full stop. The question of my problem says, how much money did Mrs. Dewsbury spend? Now I need to circle the important information. So I'm going to reread the problem again. Mrs. Dewsbury loves shopping. She went clothes shopping and spent $235 on on outfits and shoes. She decided to buy April clothes that cost $142. How much money did Mrs. Dewsbury spend? So now that I have underlined my question and I've circled the parts I need to solve my problem, I now need to cross out the rest of the words. This is an addition word problem that I've written. I'm going to use the chunking strategy to help me solve the problem. So I have $235 and I'm going to add $142 because that is how much I spent on myself and that is how much I spent on April equals. Now when you're chunking, we always start on the left hand side. So I'm going to chunk my hundreds first. So 200 add 100 equals 300. Now I'm going to chunk my tens. 30 add 40 is 70. And now I'm going to chunk my ones. 5 add 2. 5 add 2 is 7. Second row of chunking. 370 is 370. Add 7 is 377. So 235 add 142 equals $377.